Willie says it, other people say it. How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel good because all those years that I really needed that, I didn't get it.
And well, better late than never.
Well, yeah, because I always wrote the best I could, and if nobody recorded it, I assumed that if I was happy with it and I wrote quality stuff, I was a success.
What is it like to do that as the deal that you do? What's it like to be a songwriter? Because I think people don't know what that entails. What's your life like?
A lot of late hours and things, and you got a lot of people that get mad at you for getting up in the middle of the night and doing stuff, and it's hard work, just like anything else, and you polish it like a diamond, and it's so delicate, and you're the one there's some of them are so good that you want to hear them over and over, and you don't let the public hear them because you don't want to be the only one that hears it.
You don't want to share it?
No, I don't, not for a while.
How long does it take you to write a song?
Well, sometimes it only takes me about as long as a song, 5 minutes or something. But then it's no telling how long it's been rolling around inside of me, you see. So it's just, it varies. Sometimes I like one so well, I'll mess with it for a whole year.
Let's talk about this. Your story is somewhat well known, but your dad left the family when you were very little.
Oh, well, he tried to kill me while I was inside my mother.
Is that right?
He stomped the living daylights and left her in a tank for dead. And then some people found her, and she still had a little life in her, and I was inside of her. And about a month later, I came out.
And so your mother, at that point, she went to work in Waco as a waitress.
No, she went to work in the cotton fields, actually.
Cotton fields, pardon me. Yeah.
And she had me on her back and my sister on the bag, and she was picking away, and she had red hair, and she was real beautiful.
Boy, is that amazing.
And Blanche Williams used to cruise them cotton fields looking for people to work in the honky-tonks, good-looking ones that could read and write.
Yeah.
And she saw her and that red head, and she went out there and straddled the rows and said, "Do you want a good job where you can make some money? Can you read and write?" And Mama said, "Yeah," because Mom was real smart. And she said, "Yeah," and she took that cotton sack off right there and
took her about 1 second.
Yeah,
right?
She took.
And so she then went to work at the honky tonk.
Yes, in Waco, at the Green Gables. Yes.
Right. And put you in the care of.
Well, Imogene, this black lady, she was a great woman, and she had a son who was blind, and she had a stand-up piano over at her house.
Yeah.
And I would stay over there what time I wasn't over to honky tonk hanging out.
Right.
But I would sing with him, and then when I was over to honky tonk, it was during the 40s, and then the war going on and stuff, and there was soldier boys and Air Force guys and all that, and I guess they liked me because I was a little kid, and I was real skinny and didn't have much. I was barefoot. During the summer was the only time I could visit my mother, and then I couldn't call her mother because she wouldn't get tips. What happened was I called him one night over at the RCA, big, I think it's RCA, a great big building over there, and Chet Atkins and all that bunch was over there. And Captain Midnight let me in the back door. And I got over there, and I had him hemmed in because he was in the control booth, and there was all kinds of...
Couldn't get out?
Yeah, really, there's all kind of people lining the wall, groupies, hangers-on, all the whole deal, because everybody knew Waylon's going to do something. They just didn't know when or how. And he sent Captain Midnight back there with a folded-up $100 bill and handed it to me, and he said, Waylon said, take this and leave.
Oh.
And I said, well, you tell Waylon to stick that where the sun don't shine. And
you just wanted him to record those songs.
Well, I did. Yeah. And he came. I wanted him to at least listen to them,
right.
And he came. Midnight went back. I think he kept the 100. Midnight did. But he came.
Commission, right?
Yeah, he went back and he told Waylon. Waylon comes busting out of the control room and looking down the hall, and there's people all over the place. And he says, Hoss, what do you want? Give me that glare, and he had a couple of these big old bikers on each side, and I said, I'll tell you what I want. I said, I want you to listen to my songs, and if you don't, I'm going to kick your ass right here in front of God and everybody. And them old guys started coming at me, they're going to kill me, I guess. I was ready, I was tired, I was broke.
Probably by that point you were so fearless, so much had happened to you already, right? Well,
yeah.
To you that you hadn't done to yourself.
Yeah, actually, that's true, because I knew I had some great songs.
Right.
And he took me aside, and he says, just play me in one song. If I stop you, you leave, that's the end of it, no more. If you see me coming, go the other way. I said, that's fair enough. And so I played him, I think, Ain't No God in Mexico, and then I played him old five and dimers, and by that time, you know, he was hooked. And Chet Atkins came down all mad. He said, and he listened to songs. He said, these songs will not make it. They're too raw. He's saying God in them. He said, you know, you can't do that.
All the things you shouldn't do.
All the things you shouldn't do, but I knew they were great. They were cutting edge, great.
And Waylon knew it.
Yeah, he knew it. Yeah, he knew it. And he said, I'll tell you what else I'm going to do. I'm going to use my own band. He run all those musicians off, and he used his own band. And it was like a monumental thing to do.
Great thing for his career.
Well, it was the first time anybody had ever done that.
Right.
And he stuck his neck out a mile long.
So what was the effect of you on that? In other words, what did it do for you that he did this?
I was an overnight success.
Yeah. So you ran with those guys, and at that time, you know, you really did have kind of your own ups and downs personally.
Well, yeah, I did, because I thought I was supposed to do more than them of anything. And I did, and it pretty much wrecked everything.
Did it make you down on yourself?
Well, you know how drugs and things are. They're very depressing, and it knocked me out. I wish I had those years back, because I was so hot. I could have written so many more songs, but I did keep writing through that area, and that's what saved me.
Right. And during, we talk about the drugs and alcohol abuse, which is sort of legendary in your story, but there are people who will say that by being addicted to drugs and alcohol, and by having the personal tragedies that you've experienced in your life, you had your wife and mother both died of cancer within a short period of time. You lost your son, you mentioned earlier, heroin overdose. That's the stuff of the kind of songs you write, isn't it?
I know. Well, I was down there in the pits. I mean, it's kind of like, I'd say like Mike Tyson. You know, you like him, but you wouldn't want to take him home for dinner. And that's the way they were with me. Still are, some of them.
Really? What
I guess they're scared to let me around their kids or something.
Because?
They knew I did all kinds of drugs and things.
Right. But here you are still standing.
Actually, Jesus Christ came into my life.
Talk about that, because I know that actually, that is, you don't just talk about that stuff. This is an important deal for you. Talk about that.
Well, I'd like to say this, that every one of us is an individual. That's what we've all got in common. And we all receive the gospel in a different way. And I received the gospel in my way, and I'm still myself. I'm still myself. You don't have to change or give up anything. You just know how it happens, and you know how to get up real good.
Right.
You can bounce right back up from anything.
Right.
And my Christianity saved me. I actually wrote Old Chunk of Coal. When I wrote Old Chunk of Coal, that's when I got born again.
And that would have been when?
About 40 years ago. So I'm about 40 years old, really.
Right.
I'm born again.